Colt, welcome back.
Oh, it is good to be back. Boy, do we have some stuff to talk about.
Yes, last time you were on, we were more or less talking about our hopes, our aspirations, our concerns about Halo Campaign Evolved. But here we are, August 4th. The release date was a little over a week ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Is that right?
The 28th.
Okay. So you've had some time to get into it. I literally just played the first bonus mission.
Okay.
I played one of them.
So you decided to start with the bonus.
And started to play the bonus mission, and that's it. And my Game Pass, as I told you off the pod, expires on the 6th, which we're recording here on August 4th, as I'd mentioned, and it is fairly late into the evening, so I don't have a whole lot of time. So I'm thinking probably going to have to re-up. I'm going to have to take my time with this, but I want you to talk with me or talk me through your experience and whether or not I should actually sit down and play this thing through.
Oh, boy. Well, you already have it, so it is worth a playthrough. Definitely worth a playthrough, and I would like to experience it with others, because I did a solo playthrough, and obviously still fun, but it's not the same as when playing with others. It's interesting that you started with the new missions, because I actually started with base campaign and decided to come in and do the prequel missions afterwards, because I wanted to kind of get a feel for what they did with what I already know. And oh boy, there are some changes that they made. We'll get into
Okay.
it. But first, I wanted to talk about the launch of the game.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar. They did have pre-order, which was a special edition, and I believe it was $70, so pretty expensive. And with this, you got 5 days early access to the game. As far as I'm aware, many people did not get this early access.
So you're saying that they pre-ordered the collector's edition?
Correct.
Or I'm sorry, no,
Well,
was
it was a special edition.
the
Sorry.
digital premium edition of Campaign Evolved. Had the price tag of $70, as you had mentioned. Includes the base game, digital extras, and the Alpha Halo Armory Pack from what I'm seeing. But you're saying that they couldn't access the early access?
Correct.
So
And
some kind of bug?
I have yet to hear an answer as to why they couldn't. However, I have also heard reports of people trying to get refunds because of that, and they were outright denied. So there's more to look into than that. There's more to watch to see how that all plays out. Not a great launch in that department.
Yeah, it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I didn't know about this, the collector's edition, $340. Did you get this one? I didn't.
No.
But
some issues around that as well. The collector's edition, they only made so many, which sold out very rapidly. And immediately we saw scalpers reselling these editions for thousands.
wow.
Yeah.
That's just where we're at. I mean, you see that with sporting events. Tickets sold out for whatever premium event, and then you have the scalpers, and it's a game now. And now you're seeing it with tentacles now in these special editions.
Sad to see.
$340. It includes a 12-inch tall Master Chief statue, which looks pretty sweet. I'm sure you've seen this already.
It does look pretty cool.
And then you have a steelbook, and then you have an LED Cortana chip replica. Did you see that?
I did.
I'm trying to look for pictures of it. Looks pretty neat. Oh, there it is. There's the Cortana chip. That is cool. Of all the things that are featured on there, I think I would most want the Cortana chip. I think I'm going to pass. It's a little steep.
And I'll be honest, it just kind of rubs me and a lot of people the wrong way, because it just appears as, once again, a cash grab with the Halo IP. You get a figure and some cool little figures and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
Not $300-some. That's crazy.
I've never seen any kind of special collector's edition priced like that. That is outrageous. I couldn't believe that price tag. Then you said the resale market. You're exactly right. A couple thousand at minimum.
Yep.
For this.
Cool. And to make it worse, the cherry on top, Halo Studios addressed concerns with this and said that there was no evidence of widespread scalping. Unfortunately for them, YouTuber after YouTuber covered the topic and showed proof of all the reselling and scalping that was being done. I don't know who was looking out for that.
Yet again, YouTube, undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Just ask Bricks and Minifigs.
The people will always find out.
Right. So, not a clean launch. You've had some issues with individuals who had purchased the collector's edition, or not even the collector's edition, the premium edition, can't access or can't get into the early access. What else do you have on your list?
Well, getting into actually playing the game. First, you are met with the opening cutscene, which I do have to give them props. The Pillar of Autumn coming out of Slip Space, that Slip Space portal is the sexiest portal I have ever seen them make.
Yeah.
I really love it. It's outstanding. A lot of the graphics that they did for this game, I would say, are pretty outstanding. A lot of that you do get with Unreal Engine 5. You're able to get that more realistic look. Art style, I would say they did a pretty good job. We'll circle back to that with some caveats. For the most part, good.
It looks stunning, and it almost looks too stunning. If that makes sense, where you're thinking, it's not quite Halo. Halo's not known for being artsy-fartsy, but there's a certain type of artistic style.
There is. I like to refer to it as Halo soul. There's a certain soul to Halo, which I definitely want to cover. In my opinion, they butchered the soul of this game. A lot of Halo 1, it's everybody's first experience, the franchise. We don't know anything about it yet. Some key examples here. The second mission, I can't remember what the name of it is.
I'll look it up. You go ahead.
You go through a Forerunner tunnel, and you have to activate a light bridge. Now, in the original game, when you hit the controls for this light bridge, there's this little cutscene that plays out, showing the bridge arms kind of draw out, and then it activates cool angles, and there's a whole mysterious feel to it. It gives you this sense of wonder and kind of unknowingness about the Halo ring.
Yeah.
Because it's mysterious. We don't know what it is. It doesn't match anything Covenant, yet is clearly not human. It's mysterious. In Campaign Evolved, the cutscene's just completely removed. It's just a standard hit button, there's your bridge. And they did it again on the very next mission, where you have to infiltrate a Covenant ship to get Keys, who has been captured by the Covenant. And after you fight off all the waves of Covenant, you go to the gravity lift that leads into the ship. There's this cool little cutscene where you and all the Marines are standing there, and it gets activated, and they start going up one by one, and there's this cool little playful moment where, the Marines are kind of cheerfully like, whoa, as they fly up. First time any of them have interacted with a Covenant ship. It's rare that they would be able to access a ship. And again, cutscene entirely removed with just in-game. I could see where they tried to mimic the effect, where the Marines sort of kind of still do that.
But it's not a cutscene.
It's not a cutscene.
So the original had this cutscene?
Yes.
Then with Campaign Evolved, it's completely scrapped.
Completely scrapped.
By the way, the name of the missions, Mission 2, very original. It's Halo.
Okay.
And then Mission 3, Truth and Reconciliation.
Which is the name of the ship. Halo is very straightforward with a lot of its naming. Most of your Covenant vehicles are supposedly named after what they would do to you. See a ghost, it's going to make you into a ghost, to that effect. Same thing with the UNSC stuff. They very straightforward naming. But anyway, back to the cutscenes. Some faces. In particular, Captain Keyes, Cortana, and Sergeant Johnson. Not a fan. Keyes, I'm a little more forgiving with. He doesn't look like original Keyes design, but he's all right. Cortana, a lot of people think she looks like a man.
Really?
Yes. She's got a more manly facial structure.
How'd they mess that one up?
Oh, well.
Oh, I did see this. There was I'm going to pull it up now. There is the side-by-side.
Yeah, originally she has a much shorter, rounder face. Now it's much more elongated and angular. Gives it more of a manly look. Also, she's supposed to be purple, but, that scene where you see her, she's orange.
Yeah.
That's when she's plugged into the control room of Halo. And in the original game, she gets this influx of all the Forerunner information, right? And she dialogues about it, so much information so fast. She does change color. She kind of goes through a range of colors. In Campaign Evolved, they decided to just make her a solid orange. I don't know why they did that. Instead of her staying in her normal little small Cortana form, she gets ginormous. And then they have this whole scene where she has this weird little bright purple galaxy that she lifts up with her hands. It's just over-dramatized.
Who's the guy here?
That's who they're comparing, face comparison.
Yeah. Is this just a random person? I don't know.
But people have been making a lot of comparisons to his face.
Yeah, I just wonder, because I've seen his face in this type of, side-by-side. Okay. I have yet to see Cortana, just because I did the one bonus mission, which was the prequel.
And Johnson. So, to me, Halo 2 Anniversary Johnson would probably be the primary look of Johnson. That's how most people would come to accept him. That's Johnson. However, they decided to make him more look like the traditional CE look, which in realistic graphics has dubbed him Steve Harvey Johnson.
Oh, okay. I do see it now, which it's hard because got that thick mustache.
Right.
I'm showing Colt a thumbnail of a YouTube video, and it's literally Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey? Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
As Sergeant Johnson in Halo campaign evolved.
We'll be seeing a lot more of those memes.
It's undeniable. Yeah, and even the way he contorts his face and he just kind of bares his teeth, it's very Steve Harvey-esque.
Yes. And
yeah, I see it now. Okay.
Which leads me into my next part. The writing for the new dialogue and the writing for these cutscenes and the choreography for these cutscenes, particularly in the new prequels that you were playing, is god-awful. I think the voice lines are
I can comment
really
on this.
cheap. They have this level of self-awareness and constant quippiness that makes them annoying, not interesting.
Who's that?
Well, Johnson in particular. Also, the fact that Chief seems to never be able to shut up in these new prequels is kind of annoying.
He is very talkative.
So talkative.
I don't remember Chief being like that. And I can comment on this just from the one mission that I did play. The one cutscene, if you remember, for the first prequel bonus mission, it's Chief and Johnson. They're coming off of the Covenant ship.
Yep, the Spirit.
The Spirit. Chief is behind the last door. As there's some grunts, there's some jackals who are checking the doors, and then Chief goes, boo. And that's more Chief-esque in a way.
Okay.
It's a stretch.
So I definitely want to get into this cutscene in particular. There's some things I want to pick apart. I'll start with the beginning of it. First of all, the movements of the grunts and the jackal. Not really so much a fan of it, especially the jackal, the weird little, over here demanding hand gestures he does. It looks weird, and the posture of the grunts. I don't know what their obsession is with giving grunts human posture, but if you look in the older games, especially in older models, you'll notice how wide the hip base of grunts are. So they've always had this little, waddle they do. And a lot of them cutscenes, they just straight up and down legs, human posture. It looks weird. Besides that, they decided to change the look and function of the Spirit dropship. Originally, the side hatches on them are all one piece. They're not individual. They all open in one action. Why this change was made, if it was made specifically for this cutscene, or if there was another reason behind it, but that's been changed into the individual cells. To walk down the cutscene a little further, they're opening up each individual cell. The main grunt who has the data pad is opening it up. He gets frustrated on the last one, and he turns around. You open it up, and there's Chief, and then the jackal and the other grunt freaks out, and they run away. Specifically, that jackal's movement really bothers me. It is slow and lethargic and not anything like a jackal. It rips me out of the experience because I know what they should look like. When you don't behave the way I suspect you should, based on the history of what I've played.
What you've seen before.
Correct.
Yeah.
It just rips me out of the experience. There's that. And then the main grunt, he slowly turns around and Chief comes out. They do all these pauses in their cutscenes I don't get. They kind of hang on Chief for a little bit, and they hang on the grunt, and they go back to the Chief, and then he says boo, and it hangs on the grunt for a while after he says boo, which is kind of disrupts that whole scene. Then the grunt gets scared and runs away. If the grunt was to get scared at his boo, he would get scared immediately and run away after that. It just kind of broke up the scene weird.
Kind of disjointed.
And the lore-breaking part of it, that really gets to me, Why on earth would Chief let 3 Covenant soldiers run away
Just kind of flee.
and alert the ship?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
They do all these sacrifices for what seems to be cheap quips and jokes and one-liners. It's distasteful for me. So that's how that scene kind of rubs me.
See, for casuals like myself, we're missing most of this. And so I think this is what Halo Studios is banking on. But then you have people like Colt, you're not getting past me.
Well, and I'll say this, as being a diehard Halo fan, a lot of that comes from the passion we felt from Bungie when making this game. Because they sat down and they thought about everything and they put passion into it, and we feel that from their games.
Yeah.
So when we get a reiteration of it that's missing all the little things that gave it that soul, it just feels like a slap into the face for us.
You had brought up how the jackals and the grunts move. I didn't even notice that. You go back and play the original and then you play this, I'm sure you're going to notice that.
Did you make it to the cutscene where they introduced the Prophet on that ship?
Yes, but before we get into that, we do have to talk about Johnson.
We do.
He has walkout music. Did you notice that? And what kind of walkout music was that, and why?
It's always kind of been a thing with Johnson that he's into like classic rock. To me, it feels like they've taken every little instance that's made a character unique. So every one-liner that he's done, everything like that, him being in the rock music, and they've tried to jam pack it all into these 3 missions. You'll notice as you play along, and they did it with Chief too. You'll notice a lot of his quips and one-liners. It's like they tried to pack it all in there in one way or another.
Yeah, kind of feels forced, maybe not as organic.
But thought it was pretty cool. You know, he comes out with music playing.
He's like a UFC fighter. He's got walkout music.
But then he just opens his mouth. And I'm sorry, but his lines, they just feel like cheap.
Do you remember what he said?
Tier lines. Not off the top of my head.
I got it right here. It was so good I had to type it out.
Okay.
You couldn't save any for me, could you?
Oh, yeah, that line. People have tore that part of the line
and it's just one of many.
Like, well, you could have came out and helped.
And then shortly after that cutscene, Chief has a line where I'm thinking, doesn't quite feel like Chief. He says to Johnson, "You're always hungry." And I forget the context.
You're always hungry.
Do you remember that? That was such a strange...
Johnson said something about, like, the quicker we get this done, quicker we get out of here and eat or something like that.
Yeah.
And then Chief says, "You're always hungry." Which, is a little strange, especially since they don't have much history.
At this point.
Right.
Yeah.
And there you go again. Immediately after that, Johnson says, "Damn right I am." They just had to take that and shove it in there from the beginning cutscenes of Halo 1. I don't know if you're that familiar with it.
No. I can't say that I am.
Well, when you get to the main campaign, the beginning cutscene where they're introducing all the Marines, which they cut out the whole hangar scene. Got a problem with. Johnson's there addressing all the Marines that are coming out and getting information. And depending on difficulty, he says a different line. But at the end of it, he always says, "Am I right, Marines?" And they always go, "Sir, yes, sir." And he says, "Damn right I am." They just had to bring in that.
Oh, I see.
They do that constant. If you're not familiar, that's going to go right over your head. It's just going to seem like a normal little...
As it did with me.
I pick up on every little thing.
So let's go back to what you were just trying to bring up, the cutscene with the Prophet.
Yes. Very beginning of that cutscene, there is what seems to be a very lore-breaking action where this grunt is charging Chief with what seems to be an active plasma grenade.
Okay.
Okay, if you know anything about Halo plasma grenades, they stick to you after they're thrown, right?
Right.
Well, he hits this grunt in the head. Grunt loses hold of the grenade, looks completely active. Chief snatches grenade out of the air while it's on. You would assume would be now stuck to his hand, and then he throws it on another grunt and sticks to the grunt and explodes.
Okay, I do remember this now.
Then immediately after that, they post up on corners. They get some cover. The firing back and forth, especially the Covenant, is like some Star Wars here. We're shooting at freaking nothing. I'm shooting at that ceiling tile. Like,
I'm glad you are bringing this up because I thought the exact same thing. It was so bad.
And why are they standing there? They're all standing there in a line, just doing these weird little dancing animations while they're shooting.
Yeah. It's inside of the Covenant ship. But what's the name of the Covenant ship?
That one is...
I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but what I'm trying to say is the aesthetic of the interior of a Covenant ship. You got all these purple hues, you got these lights, and it's just it's just like a jazz club kind of feel. It's almost comical.
And then where immediately it switches into showing the prophet in the background in the darkness.
He slowly emerges.
And then we get to the point of the music. Did you notice what music they used to introduce him?
I did not.
It's flood music.
Flood music.
It is. When you get to the flood scenes, you'll notice it. They have this major problem in this game. They reused all the music from the Bungie era.
Okay.
But they have, as clear as day, they have absolutely no idea when and how to use it because they just saturate the whole game with the music. It's like not a moment of silence. There's constantly music. It just feels out of place. Marty O'Donnell specifically crafted the music for moments in the game to give you a feeling during those moments. So if you just throw these tracks over anything, it just robs the experience and it cheapens the music. I never thought I would get sick of hearing some of the renditions, and I did. I was tired of hearing because you did it so much. When I got to the cool moments where it would hype me up and get me excited for them, it just fell flat because I've heard it for the 30th time now.
You're suggesting that they had to go in there and they had to chop up the score itself just because they were taking some things out, they were adding some things.
Yes, there's definitely some clear evidence of this, especially in some cutscenes where the music kind of abruptly chops because they have rearranged the cutscenes, cut some things out and whatnot.
Huh.
But using flood music to introduce him,
the prophet,
didn't like it. But besides that, that's kind of nitpicky a little bit. Then he steps out and he starts introducing the various members of the Covenant. It is the most... I'm sorry, but I hate it so much. He introduces the grunts and they do a little emote. And he introduces the jackal and he does an emote. And he introduces the Sangheili. He does an emote. It's like, oh my God, it feels so cheap and not Halo.
It kind of reminds me of the iconic scene from Dodgeball where Ben Stiller's character, White Goodman, allow me the pleasure of introducing you to Blade, Laser, Blazer.
Yeah. If this was some like spin-off that wasn't meant to take itself very seriously, I could probably excuse it. But it just seems like they don't know how to capture the essence of what Halo is. And they cheapen it with, I don't really know what to call it, but just low-tier writing decisions.
Can I ask you something, Colt?
Sure.
Who is Halo Studios?
343 Industries.
343. Basically, it's 343 just simply rebranded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joseph Staten came in for a while for Halo Infinite, and he left, and I don't know who took his place, and if they remained for Halo Studios or if they got axed when Halo Studios, or when 343 rebranded the Halo Studios.
I'm looking at Staten left 343 and Microsoft in early 2023. He was not directly given a single one-to-one replacement for his specific hybrid role as head of creative for Halo Infinite.
Then I will be terrible at pronouncing current head of Halo Studios. Kyrie, and whatever his name is. I'm not so familiar with him as much as I'm familiar with the head of Xbox, Joe Sharma.
Yes. I'm trying to look up. This is the head of Halo Studios?
Yeah.
That you're thinking? Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to look this up. Oh, the head of Halo Studios is Pierre Hintz?
That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pierre Hintz. Okay. Took over as studio head in September of 2022. He's been there for a while in that role.
I think they've been working on this for 4 years.
They've been working on this for 4 years. Wow.
I want to look that up. I'm not entirely sure, but it's been 5 years since Halo Infinite. Pretty sure this has been in development for roughly 4 years.
Now I'm intrigued. Let's see. I'm seeing 2 years.
Is it 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beginning around 343's 2024 studio restructuring and transition to Unreal Engine 5.
Okay. Can be kind of hard to tell because there's a lot of little side projects hinted at and then canceled, like that Project Eckert, which is supposed to be a new multiplayer game, which apparently a lot of this game has been done by third-party studios.
Okay. I wanted to get into this because I seen something as part of my research that I was doing prior to you getting here. Let's get into that.
Some Indian development studios, perhaps? I'm not entirely sure. not in the credits of the game. Apparently, whoever they had working on it was not quite delivering on time and then just kind of disappeared.
I think that's what I read too. Is it Abstraction?
That sounds right.
Abstraction, let me pull up my notes. Abstraction Studio handled major technical work and level design for all missions, from concept, block out through encounters, scripting, NPC spawning, and adapting levels for new features like Sprint. Development with Abstraction began around summer of 2023. Halo Studios allegedly ended the contract mid-development, so this would have been fall of last year. Much of Abstraction's work had to be redone, which would help explain persistent AI and gameplay issues. Abstraction is absent from the main credits.
Uh-huh.
And I'm getting all this from an X account, which by far in a way, one of the more creative handles. I really enjoyed this one. Idle Sloth. So at idlesloth84_, continuing to read through this. And this is just piggybacking off what you had to say here, Colt. Much of the work done by this third party had to be redone, and they're absent from the main credit. This really had to be some issue. This had to be a massive issue. It had to be so bad to just get rid of it entirely.
I'm not exactly sure what the situation was around it. Obviously, it wasn't good, and it shows.
Let me read you this. An external partner, I don't know who this is. It just says the studio had been acquired by Virtuos in early 2025, but later returned to independence. So I believe we're still talking about Abstraction. The post reads, an external partner responsible for cinematics also underdelivered and barely finished in time, leading to the decision to cut real-time cinematics, which is why player armor, weapon customization doesn't appear in those cinematics.
That's why they're pre-rendered. It really does take away from the experience of Halo. Marty O'Donnell talks about this in their decision to make it in-game, in-engine cutscenes. It drastically affects the flow of the game. The ability for you to transition from gameplay into a cutscene, the music continues and it just kind of flows into it. You get to see the weapons you're using. It just adds to the immersion that the game has.
Cole, it gets worse. Let's talk about some of the internal studio issues for Halo Studios under studio head that we just mentioned, Pierre Hintz. Importing, rebuilding assets for the hybrid Blam and Unreal Engine proved far more difficult and time-consuming than leadership initially expected. Essentially, 100% of the assets had to be rebuilt. Hintz reportedly promoted friends into key leadership roles, including the original executive producer and head of production, who were reportedly not prepared for the positions. This contributed to unclear direction, shifting priorities, micromanagement, and tension. Those leaders were later demoted, replaced, and the head of production was essentially fired. The multiplayer project, Ecker, was canceled, so its team could be redirected to save Campaign Evolved. In the last 9 months, the team worked under severe crunch, late nights, weekends, constant firefighting, and pivots, and managed to deliver a playable, respectable, in quotes, experience.
Playable, yes. Respect.
That's a stretch. Wow. This is the first time that I had read this shortly after we started to record.
I have actually heard all this.
But I didn't read through all of this. I just remember seeing the first 2 bits about Abstraction. You have the Abstraction piece. Then you have the chaos in Halo Studios itself.
A little favoritism, it seems.
Which proved to be at their detriment.
Yep.
Wow. So not ideal.
No.
I don't think we're going to get a behind-the-scenes featurette or a bonus disc for the collector's edition.
No, I don't think so. And I really want to know. They say that porting all these old features over proved more difficult, and they essentially had to rebuild stuff. What did you rebuild? Other than models. I genuinely would love to know that. I would love if they would release a video explaining their development process and what they've rebuilt, because there's a lot that I feel from the other games in this game. It feels like a Frankenstein of Bungie era games, although I feel some Halo 4 in there too. And there's some couple things that give me some Halo 4 feel. In particular, a lot of reach. I feel a lot of reach in this.
Okay.
Which I love reach. I really enjoyed reach. Was it AI? Because it doesn't seem like it. The Covenant AI, which is mostly reach, seems kind of like a cut down version of it. Now, I'll give them this. The Jackals are interesting. They'll kind of get together and do this little phalanx walk. which I enjoy, and I think that's a cool feature. But the elites, their AI is dumb.
I've noticed this.
Being used to that more intelligent AI that knows when to push you, when to fall back, compared to, in particular, the first mission in the Pillar of Lava, watching the elite post up on a corner, because they have these new little animations where they'll take cover on a corner, but half his body's still exposed. And
So me, with paintball.
I completely strafed around him. I walked around the corner and watched him complete his animation and was able to empty half a clip of my AR into him before he ever reacted.
Oh,
It's just terrible. It rips me out of the experience.
oh, that's not good.
One more thing on the cutscenes before I completely move on from those.
Okay.
There are a few changes I would say I enjoyed for the most part, though they've kind of just bastardized some of them. At the end of the Silent Cartographer, there's a whole cutscene where you are flying around the island and you fly over the island and you see how that top hatch that you were fighting in, it's where you fight the hunters in that mission. It kind of opens up and then you can see how you go down into that tunnel. They've kind of gotten rid of all of that and just cut straight to a scene, a shot where you're looking up from within the tunnel and you see the upper hatch open up and then the pelican comes in. A lot of these changes, they're not necessarily terrible, but
Different.
and again with the soul of Halo, a lot of it, the cutscenes were crafted very carefully in order to curate a feel. And with the changes that they've made, it does just kind of take away from the experience. It doesn't set up the next mission in the same way. For the most part, I would say they're not bad. However, I do believe a couple cutscenes may have used AI. Genuinely.
You're suggesting that Halo Studios used AI
Well,
to
whether
create cutscenes.
be it them or a third-party studio or whoever actually made them. Here's why I say that. A lot of the scenes, they have similar pacing, whether it be good or bad. Then there's a couple scenes where the pacing is just entirely off. And I mean like animations of the characters moving within the cutscenes. It's
Okay.
a little too fast, a little too off. It just feels like AI generated this. One of those that kind of gives me that feel is right after you save Captain Keyes from the Reconciliation, he's piloting a spirit dropship. And for whatever reason, Chief doesn't get on the dropship and he flies away with it, like he lifts off with it, which is strange. I don't know why they did that. Again, seems like a lazy choice just for their cutscene, where then they have the two hunters come in that are ambushing Chief instead of being a threat to the ship. And iconic scene where Keyes maneuvers the spirit ship and he hits the hunters, crushing them. In that cutscene, they do this weird slow-mo effect as it comes in to hit the hunters, and then it just speeds up real quick, and the whole pull-away scene where Chief jumps on is all like really fast and just doesn't match the regular pacing. It just feels off. There's another scene, I can't quite recall which one it is. There's a lot of cutscenes.
I even noticed you're verbalizing it now for me, and I couldn't verbalize what the issue was. Seems like it was a pacing issue from the cutscenes, even at the first bonus prequel mission.
Right.
So I noticed that a hair. I don't know. I would have to go back and watch it. But now that you say that, I did notice a little bit there. It may not be as significant as some of these later cutscenes. I think I noticed it, bits and pieces of it at least. So problematic cutscenes.
Yeah, problematic at best. That, I guess, is a good segue into sort of the same thing, the voice acting. Cortana in particular.
Which Cortana is still voiced by Jen Taylor.
Yep, still Jen Taylor. Still, Jen Taylor does an amazing job. But whoever directed the voice acting gave them these new deliveries. Horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. She's not Cortana. This isn't Cortana. I'll tell you who it is. It's Joyous. It's the weapon from Halo Infinite.
Oh, I see.
Almost to a T in some instances. That overjoyful, gleeful kind of tone she gets in her voice, especially towards the end of a couple sentences, are really bad. Where Cortana had more of an arrogant tone. She kind of knew she was the smartest person in the room, was still helpful, still on your side, was there to poke fun at you, but still your buddy. That's the feel that she gave. And that's entirely gone with the new deliveries of these voice lines. And it is one of the key things that makes me rate this game lower. It rips me out of the experience.
Yeah.
And they have her talking too much. Way too much. This game is the most hand-holdy Halo that has ever came out. Ever.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think the reason for that is because Halo Studios is thinking this is going to be some players, their very first experience with Halo, and so they have to spoon feed these players? Some of these younger players, that is?
Is that the reason why they made their decision? I believe so.
Mm.
Is that a good decision? I don't think so. I'll say this. A lot of us who played the original Halo were kids when we played it. And we figured it out just fine. None of the hand-holding.
Yeah.
None of the let us figure it out. And that's a part of the experience. And yeah, there's something to be said about the newer generation, kind of the more lower attention span, needing that dopamine fix at a faster rate. But that's not Halo.
Yeah, let's face it, we're all dopamine addicted at this point, not just our younger brethren. I didn't realize this. What I'm reading here, the audio and dialogue for Campaign Evolved were completely re-recorded rather than simply recycling the 2001 audio track from the original game. Recording direction and coordination involved a specialized team, including voice directors Ruben Navarro and Isabel Martinez. So we're putting you both on blast.
I'm sorry, but you failed miserably. Those lines,
Come on, Colt, give it to him straight.
It feels like a punch in the gut.
Yeah. I think you should stop sugarcoating it.
I don't want to get too explicit here.
Right? Yeah.
That being said, there is actually, in the control room, after you go through the library with Guilty Spark and you get the activation index for Halo and you go back to the control room, all of Cortana's lines in that I really don't like. But I will say, I think I enjoy what they did with Chief there. They give him some kind of a new angle and a little more voice lines in there. And I enjoy that because I feel like in the original, his lines were a little kind of clunky. And, I'll give it that. I think that's about all the praises I can give it, though.
Yeah.
Let's see. With Cortana's extra voice lines and the hand-holdiness. Well, I'll say this. The hand-holdiness starts with the very beginning of the game. Did you experience the menu talking to you as soon as you...
Yes. Okay. I was thinking this was some kind of bug.
Nope.
Where it was the narrator was...
I don't want to say this because, again, I kind of agree. I think they have dumbed it down in a sense for the newer generation, but I'm convinced they think we are dumb. They've got that on by default. Hit markers on by default in a single-player game that has great hit registration, hit feedback with your NPCs. I mean, the shields flaring up on Elite, I know I'm hitting him. I don't need a hit
marker.
Icons floating above every single weapon, super annoying. Don't need that. They added in, with their waypoint feature, waypoints seem to constantly be on, as far as I can tell, which back in the original, the waypoints wouldn't appear until you've kind of loafed around a little bit, and the game kind of seemed could tell when you weren't quite figuring out where you're supposed to go. But they added this new feature. And I believe if there's 5 enemies or less left, it puts a freaking red icon above their head.
I have seen this. Yeah.
This is catastrophic, and here's why. There are several instances within the regular campaign, in particular, like when you're invading the Covenant ship to get keys, where he's imprisoned. In his prison room, there are invisible elites, okay? Now, in the original game, you get ambushed by them, you die, you've learned. Now you know they're there. Now, they appear on your motion tracker. Keys says they're there. Cortana says they're there. And if you are thorough in your killing, there's less than 5 enemies in this room. And all the invisible elites now have a red freaking icon above their head.
Yeah.
Not really useful being invisible anymore, is it?
Somebody should tell those guys.
Not only does it feel kind of insulting, because it's like, come on, how easy are you going to make this? But it also gives the feel of, did you test this? Because I don't think you did. I find it hard to believe you played through this, didn't run into this, or say you did and thought it was okay. For Halo, used to be, it is the flagship game for Xbox.
Yes.
And used to be groundbreaking, innovative in the gaming industry in general. I mean, they quite literally invented the 2-stick system. One stick moves you around, the other stick looks around. That started with Halo Campaign of All, which, tell me if I'm wrong with that, but pretty sure.
We'll let the listeners decide that one.
To go from a passion project that was groundbreaking, pushing boundaries, and gave player freedom to allow you to do a bunch of the goofy stuff like breaking through the map or like on the Silent Cartographer driving off into the ocean. You could just do that stuff. Again, I'll go back to that soul of Halo. It was just so special, and they've gotten so far away from it.
I want to go back to what you had mentioned about Halo being the flagship franchise of Xbox and how much of a trailblazer it was back in the day. Playing just the one mission, as we had talked about, it's playing through all the hits, and it's not even going through the greatest hits as well as it could be, right? It's almost shortchanging the experience, and that's just because, as we had talked about, they had to rebuild some things, and then when you do that, you could potentially get some things lost in translation. But I'm playing this, and I'm thinking, I've been playing Halo since my very first one. You had talked about it on our last pod. Your first experience was Halo 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Mine was Halo 2, not too much earlier than you. And it's like, okay, this feels like Halo in a way, in spurts. There really isn't anything groundbreaking that's presented to us. It's just not even meeting the benchmarks that were already established years, decades ago.
That's honestly what I'm trying to say with that. They don't understand what makes Halo Halo. That's very noticeable in their work and all their newer stuff. They don't grasp the different aspects, the nitty-gritty military aspects that make Halo Halo. But on top of that, I don't see the innovation. I don't see the passion. I don't see... It doesn't feel like a game made by a crew of dedicated, passionate artists that want to make a game. It seems like a corporation that's pumping out a game for revenue. And that's the death of Halo.
You have, and we were warned about this when Microsoft got involved as much as they have gotten involved. You're exactly right. What we had seen with Bungie, it was more of these are fans of the game itself who are so passionate. Not to say that there weren't deadlines, there weren't these crunches, and they had some very problematic development cycles,
right,
to
but
say the
where
least.
did those come from? Those came from Microsoft. Bungie was still worked for Microsoft when they made the Halo games.
Yes.
They were picked up from Microsoft. Same corporate pressure, which was honestly why Bungie got out of it, honestly is what we're still seeing and still dealing with. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And they made their own studio, 343 Industries, now Halo Studio, but it's still corporate pressure is sucking the artistry out of our games.
Maybe that's it. Maybe even the studios themselves, because think about what you just said. They don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is what you said. They don't know what makes Halo Halo.
They don't.
Halo Studios doesn't know what makes Halo Halo. That is such a strange concept.
And I was just listening to a podcast. Marty O'Donnell's been doing some. He did one like a couple days ago.
We should invite him on. What do you think?
That would be awesome.
That would be
legendary to get Marty. Oh. I would pick his brain.
Come on, Marty.
Left and right.
You're more than welcome. Anytime.
I lost my thought.
See, this every time I bring up Marty, Colt gets sidetracked.
Got me too excited. Marty was talking a lot about their different decisions on why they've done what they've done, yada, yada. But the real important takeaway that I got is nobody asked him. Nobody asked him. And to his knowledge, nobody asked any of the other old Bungie developers that worked on original Halo. Nobody's picked their brains to ask them why they did what they did, if there was a reason. They just make arbitrary changes without any knowledge on what made them special to begin with.
Marty said this on his pod?
In a podcast with somebody, yes. He said that he was not asked anything about this game.
No one consulted him?
No.
Really?
No.
That can't be true.
This has been true for so long now, Chris. This is what's plagued our game. Halo is made by people that don't understand what Halo is. All this time, they don't understand what it is. And that's why they get blasted by us fans who understand what it is because we experienced it, we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And they're just caught in between us who understand what it is. They can't meet our mark. They don't understand what it is. And a newer modern audience that's looking for generic features in modern games like sprint and all this stuff. And we won't have to get into that and how that mixes with Halo games.
To me, it seems like Halo Studios, and this is just conjecture. I don't know. I haven't looked at the individual LinkedIn profiles or the resumes of these people, of these developers for Halo Studios. I wouldn't be shocked if you go from one developer to the next, the individual people there at Halo Studios, and they may not even have any kind of infatuation with any prior Halo entries in the franchise. No. They were hired because they're good at what they do. They check off boxes. But when you do that, when you keep hiring just for the sake of hiring someone who's the most qualified, I'm thinking this is the byproduct. This is the result of that, of all those hiring decisions. I could be completely off bases, may not be in the best interest of Halo Studios just to, after one candidate after the next, to hire John Doe or whoever it is. What I'm trying to say is, may not be in their best interest to hire anyone who's just checking off all the boxes.
Right.
It's got to be more than that.
And I'll make 2 points on that. For one, this is kind of a problem throughout the gaming industry as a whole. I think I brought this up on the last pod. A lot of the people who work on these games, especially now that they've made the transition to Unreal Engine, they're contract workers because they don't want to have to pay them a higher wage and benefits. With these contract workers, they can pay them a lower wage. They don't have to pay them benefits.
Yeah.
And they just keep this revolving door of contract workers.
Yeah.
So they can't even build a crew that understands what it is.
Yeah.
I don't even believe the higher-ups who stay there understand what makes Halo Halo yet.
Yeah. You got a problem with our deadline? Okay, see ya. We'll replace you.
Right. I believe one of the devs who worked on this game, I don't even think's there anymore. I think his contract already expired. Posted about happy to see their hard work come out, so they're excited to see it. It makes me feel bad for the people who are working on it, who actually cared and tried to make a good product, and then it's released like this.
Let's not get twisted. We do know, or we like to think, rather, that there are people who are at Halo Studios who actually, as you had mentioned, who do care.
Yeah,
who are passionate about this. To me, and to you and others, it increasingly feels like so many of these developers under the umbrella of Halo Studios, it's just it's a means to an end. Yeah. Like, this is a job. This isn't a love letter to Halo fans or a passion project, as you talked about. This is just my day job. And when it's your day job, guess what you're going to be doing? When you're not passionate about it, you're going to be doing the bare minimum. Like, hey, I'm here to get a paycheck. I'm going to go home and do what I'm really passionate about.
And the other point that I'll make on this, which I only briefly want to touch on, is ideology leaking into games. It is really unfortunate that a lot of the newer developments, ideology can kind of seep in and change the narrative or change certain aspects of the game that have nothing to do with the game, as just to kind of fulfill somebody's beliefs who's on the team that's working on it. You definitely can see that from time to time. Some people work at Halo Studios, they hate guns. They don't like guns. They don't like violence. Okay. It's your prerogative. You can believe in whatever you want to believe in. But don't let it get into your way of making a game the way it's supposed to be made. And the only reason I bring that up a little bit is there's a lot of people that really hate the new ODST woman from the prequel missions. Hey, call her a woke girl boss. And
I did see this making the rounds, yes.
And let me say this, for those who know the lore and are still trying to defend it, let's make this clear. The reason why ODSTs have a little bit of an issue with Spartans, we'll say, their history, shortly after they got their augmentations, the Master Chief himself went to a workout room and he was trying to work out, whatnot, and a crew of ODSTs came in. Some stuff happened, and anyway, they started pushing him around a little bit, and he got into this altercation with them, and he severely injured 2 and killed 1. I believe that's how it went down. Regardless, he killed 1. Of course, nothing happened because of that. He's a Spartan. I'm not going to do anything to him. That, and he looks like a kid. And he was only a teenager at the time. But that has bred some bad blood between the ODSTs and Spartans. And in general, ODSTs are an all-volunteer military force. They're essentially like, they are the Navy SEALs. They are the most badass of the Marines, volunteered to go into this program. So they are the ones that are sent in to do the gritty, hard job. Well, then you get further in the war, Spartans become public knowledge. They use them as a PR campaign. New super soldiers that are going through slaughtering the enemy, they're a big hope. Some ODSTs have some issue with just think, hey, Spartans are a big PR campaign. And that's the angle they tried to go with. The problem is, that is few and far between in lore. Like, that is I would say that's more of condensed down to a specific group of ODSTs. Because a lot of, in the later games, and which games have precedent over books anyhow, as far as Bungie games are concerned. The ODSTs in that game are still, they're happy to fight alongside you and whatnot. And they still, it's their morale is boosted by a Spartan being around. If they wanted to go with this angle, I think it would have been far more tasteful if they would have made her competitive, not cynical like she is. She kind of tries to play off Chief, tries to downgrade him. It's always like this comparison issue. And it comes off wrong. It rubs people the wrong way. Now, if it was like a competitive, like, oh, I'm going to kill more brutes than you in this next room. And, they played it off like that. I think her character would have come off way better than what they did.
Maybe even a fan favorite. Maybe a new fan favorite.
It could have been.
Yeah.
We've never had an issue with women being in our game. There's tons of women throughout Halo games that we love. We love Kat. We love
Dare.
Yeah. Yeah, Dare. We love the pilots. Almost all the pilots were meant to be women as well. One of the big reasons why they didn't have female Marines, other than it being mainly made by men and for men, they didn't want to see women get burnt by plasma and hurt and killed and whatnot. That was just kind of it was more of a gentlemanly aspect of it. And they've now made it like a 50-50. Not only is it not realistic in real life, it feels forced for an ideology. People have had enough of it. We just don't want ideology in a game. Make a character good for being a good character, not because you want to just shove a certain type of character in.
This is Lieutenant Williams. I have yet to meet her or be introduced to Lieutenant Williams. I'm now looking forward to this. But yes, I've certainly seen that making the rounds.
For one other part that I'll say on that is they replaced, in the opening cutscene, Captain Keyes walks over to one of his officers and puts his hand on his shoulder. Not such a big deal, but again, it's just another example of them not understanding what's in the game, why it's there, them just kind of ripping the soul out of it. Oh, that picture right there's a good comparison of two different art styles.
So what we're looking at here, these are side-by-sides of Halo Combat Evolved from 2001, then the Anniversary Edition from 2011, and now Evolved from 2020.
This man sitting here, that is a facial scan of one of the engineers that worked on the original game.
You're pointing to is it the 2011 version? Anniversary?
Yeah, okay. That's Anniversary now.
Yes.
Give or take, obviously, Anniversary was kind of a flop. They redid graphics, wasn't great. Right below it, you'll see they replaced him with generic, it's like a standard African woman. It looks more African to me. Short hair.
I'm blowing this up a little bit so we can see it better.
To a lot of people, this just feels like a clear example of you, for one, not understanding why something was there.
Yeah.
Ripping the soul out of it. And two, just putting something in to mark off a checkbox of some ideological checklist. That's what it feels like.
It's hard to dispute that. That would be very unfortunate. You know that for sure from the Anniversary Edition.
That comes from the words of Marty O'Donnell himself. There's the original.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I do remember Marty saying this, or at least I've seen this somewhere, somehow. Maybe you had even brought it up in an earlier conversation, and now that this person was replaced, I'm curious to know whether or not, because this changes things, if Halo Studios knew, or the individuals who were involved in making this decision knew about it and then still decided to replace it.
Which,
because I want to give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they didn't know.
I don't think they did. Overall, I just feel like a lot of the decisions they made comes from ignorance. And just simply not knowing and not understanding what made it special.
So it begs the question, what makes them decide to tinker with things, change things, or not tinker or change things? I just wonder what the thinking is.
I would love to know, because that's actually a good point when it comes to the Marine design. The Marine armor, they didn't decide to remake the original design for the Marines. They instead just took Halo Reach / Infinite Marines and just plopped them in the game. But yet, you redid Johnson's look to look more like the CE version over his newer, more accepted look. I just don't understand. Why did you make those decisions?
Yeah, you mentioned that on the last. Fairly inconsistent.
Yeah.
At least be consistent.
The last note I'll make on that, which is a big thing going on right now, which I think there's a lot of misinformation going on around about it. I don't really know for sure yet. In the beginning mission, it is a tradition when Keyes hands you his pistol, and he says, he doesn't keep it loaded, and you walk out of the room, and then you get ammo for the pistol, people immediately turn around, go back in that room, and kill everybody in that room. Now, in the original and in this, there's a cool little thing that happens when you do that. The doors lock. In the newer one, Cortana, I think she has some new dialogue where she says something about, like, get him, boys, like, I'm shutting you down or something like that. But regardless, Marines are sent in to kill you, put you down. That's game over at that point. And it was always just a cool thing to do, to kind of jump in, see how long you can last, because you have no ammo to pick up. You just have whatever that was left in that pistol.
Okay.
And the Marines can almost insta-kill you, and they have infinite health, so...
Yeah.
It's like a competition to see how long you could live. It's one of those things. That's the soul of Halo. That little thing that everybody did.
Everybody did it.
Then you get to this, people go to do it, and they notice something. Because I told you it's a 50-50 split. They replaced almost all the Marines with half of them are women now. The female officers in the bridge, you couldn't kill them. Walk over to a male, easy, pop. One head, done. And then you go over to a female, you shoot, nothing.
Are they too shifty?
No, standing perfectly still. And I believe it's some kind of coding error is what they were saying. Now, a lot of people don't believe that, they think it was done intentionally, and that just plays into the whole ideology thing.
Right.
It's already flared up. I could see how it could be a coding issue, especially since the chairs they're sitting in are actually vehicles. They're coded. They're new NPCs that they've made because they're female. There were no female NPCs in there. So they're new assets to some degree that they are putting in these vehicles. And I don't know if there's some kind of hitbox registration thing or what. I'm still waiting for a definitive answer to come out on that.
Yeah.
But regardless, no matter what it is, the females are really hard to kill compared to the men. And that was another thing that rubbed people wrong way, and that's all blown up. I'm sure you'll see something on that.
Yeah. Was this intentional?
Was it intentional?
Or is it just a fluke thing?
Right.
I can't believe you still want me to play this game. This thing's looking like Swiss cheese.
It is an amalgamation of other games, and it feels like it. Like I said, with the Reach Covenant AI, a lot of the movements and stuff are very Reach-like as well. Hijacking vehicles. You can hijack a Banshee, and that's all Reach animation and stuff. Except they didn't finish the animation. There's a lot of animations that aren't quite finished.
And maybe this is just the result of what we had talked about earlier.
Right.
With the
elite that hops into Banshee isn't completely invisible when you hijack the Banshee. They added in the ability for you, when you're in a warthog, you're driving it, you can quick change to the turret in the back. That's a feature that was in, I believe it's in Infinite. I believe it was in Halo 5.
I wouldn't know.
Time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in Infinite. And there's an animation for it in those games. No animation period. It's just pop, back and forth. It's it just rips you out of the experience.
I haven't seen it yet. Now I'm interested.
It's goofy. Yeah, you just pop back and forth. No animation at all.
What's going on here?
Now I have a lower end PC. I expect to run into some issues. However, I've heard reports of a lot of people kind of having some issues. When there's a lot of NPCs spawning in, I would see noticeable frame rate drop. If there's a lot of plasma on screen, plasma is beautiful, but it's very bright, very luminous. When there's a lot of it at once, I can tell it impacts the system. I can handle some frame rate drops. Worse than that was lighting pop in and out for me. I would be walking down a hallway and it would go from daylight to night, like a light switch. And I'm pretty sure that's my system. I think the graphics card isn't quite, I don't think the driver's quite on the right version that it wants for that game. It just adds to, yet again, why would I play this over the original? Looks pretty, but at the end of the day, looks are looks. I want the game to feel good.
Yeah, looks great. Visually, it's stunning. Some of the cinematic, even the few cutscenes that I had seen.
Yeah, visually it is beautiful. It is a beautiful game. And the art style, I would say they nailed the art style. And overall, I would say the gameplay feels like Halo.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Now, I didn't sprint much in my game. I just conditioned not to use it.
I forget that it's there.
Yes, I do too. I did use it to get from point A to point B if it was a long gap of nothingness.
If you know where you're going, yeah.
Other than that, in combat, I never did, and it felt fine to me. If I had used it in combat, I can absolutely see where it would break encounters for me, because you can just kind of skirt around stuff. The Flood in particular, really, it is a shame they decided to use Halo 3 Flood in this game instead of the biggest missed opportunity with this game for me is the AI. You had the opportunity to take Halo 1's AI and improve upon it, just add stuff to make it better, and they didn't. They cheapened out. They pulled AI from other games. Halo 3's Flood is more sluggish than Halo 1's, for one. These feel even more lazy. They can get some spunk in them from time to time, but overall, they're just kind of lethargic. As the Flood in Halo 1 was hyper-aggressive. They would sprint at you all the time. They even had this kind of like super sprint they would do. They'd kick an overdrive and you had no choice but to deal with them or die. And they would even, I don't know if this was a bug or not, I don't remember. They had this feature where they would kind of play dead. You'd shoot one, they would fall over and it would look dead. Yeah. And as soon as you got close to it, it would just pop back up and jump scare you. It really adds to the horror and the franticness.
Yeah, you're not seeing that in this one. That was the AI for the Flood in Halo 1, but not Halo 3. And that's what they had used.
And with sprint involved, I am sad to say that you can train the Flood around like you're playing Call of Duty Zombies. And that hurts me.
Let's take a look at Campaign Evolved by the Numbers, shall we?
Sure, yeah.
We knew this was on our radar at the end of July. We were very excited about it. I don't think this is what you were seeing from your corner, but from my corner, my algorithm, at least, the community was split. It's not that these people were saying that it was the best Halo ever. They were more or less saying, I enjoyed it. This was fun. And this is with Unreal Engine 5. It looks great. And I had a good time. But they stopped short of saying this is the greatest Halo that we've ever seen. And this is what we can expect for future Halos. Now, you do have the other side of the coin where it's not even worth your time. This is very problematic. It's very buggy. It has all these issues. Some of the woke elements and so forth, yada, yada. Seeing the discourse online is one thing, but let's talk about the numbers. Okay. So let's get right into it here. The first numbers that I have for you. This is per Pirate Nation. It's their X account, Pirate_Nation. Hopefully I got that right. But it's saying that Campaign Evolved has recorded the lowest Steam launch of any modern Halo game. According to Steam DB, the game reached a peak of a little over 25,000 concurrent players on Steam, making it the smallest Steam debut in the series.
I was actually heavily watching the Steam charts for this one.
For comparison, the Master Chief Collection peaked at a little over 160,000 concurrent players when it launched on Steam way back in 2019.
When broken, mind you.
And then Halo Infinite reached an all-time peak of a little over 270,000 concurrent players after its free-to-play multiplayer launched. Wow, look at that difference.
In modern day Halo, you would really expect this game to be between at least 100,000 and 200,000 concurrent players.
Yeah.
It flopped. It was a complete total.
Whoa, I did not expect this. I was thinking it may not have been close to the Master Chief Collection. It may have not met that benchmark of 160,000, but 25,000? I was actually more surprised that Halo Infinite reached 270, but it was the free-to-play multiplayer. I'm sure that helped.
Well, think of this. Most of your people have already played this game in one way, shape, or form. We have the original. We have the Master Chief Collection. You could still play the Master Chief Collection. It's modern. I would consider Master Chief Collection still a modern game. It's actively up and going. People are playing it. Even now, I would be curious to look at the Steam charts to see what its active player count is compared to Campaign Evolved.
Right now.
I bet it's comparable, if not better, on Master Chief Collection.
I'll see if I can look this up really quick. All right, so Halo Master Chief Collection right now got a little over 8,000.
8,000
as of an hour ago. Well, let's
compared to see what good old Campaign Evolved has. Wow.
What we're looking at here, folks.
Current 24-hour peak of Campaign Evolved is 7,333 compared to the current 24-hour peak of Master Chief Collection, which is 8,756.
So Master Chief Collection has, 1,500 more?
More.
Wow.
Campaign Evolved just came out.
Within the last 2 weeks, right? Within the last week.
Fresh enough.
Yeah.
That's just beyond embarrassing. That's catastrophic. I'm sorry, that's catastrophic.
Big woof. Did not expect that.
And that's my point. If you haven't played the game, you've at least seen somebody play it. With the Master Chief Collection that came out, there's a bunch of modern playthroughs of the game, people's first time playthroughs of the game. So people have seen it. They know, and they've interacted with the community, so they know what there is to expect. So even if they haven't played it yet, like if you're a diehard PlayStation fan or something like that, you're probably at least familiar with it. And then when you saw the early releases, the early videos that came out, and you started seeing all the little things, you went, I'm not paying $50 for that.
Why?
I'm going to wait and see. I'll go buy the Master Chief Collection and get all the rest of the games too. Now how much it's costing right now, but probably around 30 or so bucks.
Basically, what it seems to me as to what we're seeing with Campaign Evolved is you're paying a premium price for Unreal Engine 5. And not even that, just because you're only getting campaign. You're not getting multiplayer, you're not getting Forge, you're not getting theater, you're not getting all these other elements.
You were paying $50 for an Unreal Engine 5 tech demo.
Yes.
A downgraded version of the original game.
Let's look at some more numbers. Charlie Intel on their X account, and this was via, help me out here, Colt, if you don't mind, Alina Analytics. For the month of July, and this is for PS5, PS4, because as you know, this title was made playable on PlayStation. Oh, I gave away the answer. Did you see the answer?
No, I didn't.
Okay. How many copies did Campaign Evolved sell? This is for the month of July. Mind you, it came out, the release date was officially July 28th.
Right.
So this kind of works against them because it's the tail end. Yeah, 2 or 3 days. But still, it's their launch window.
On PlayStation?
On PS4 and PS5.
Oh.
How many copies?
Ooh, I don't know, 20,000.
Just quite a bit more than that. But in comparison, it may not be as much. So for Halo Campaign Evolved, it was 350,000 copies.
Okay.
But keep in mind, Minecraft is at 500,000.
Yeah.
Black Flag Resynced, the remaster of Assassin's Creed. Black Flag, 1.5 mil. And Bobby's going to love this. But the Call of Duty ports, Black Ops 1, 3 million. Black Ops 2, a little over 8 million.
I wasn't really sure how well it would do on PlayStation.
Yeah.
From what I heard so far, it was a major flop over there too, as far as current player count.
It's a low number.
All in all, just all the way around, especially for a Halo game. We're not talking about just some random game. This is the flagship game for Xbox. Xbox and Halo are canonical. They're integrated within each other. To let your flagship game release in such a lazy state, anything connected to that franchise, it's demoralizing.
Yeah.
Why would I go to you for games?
And it wasn't like Halo as a franchise was necessarily on what you would describe as a hot streak either.
No, for 15 years. No, 15 years, I believe, since Halo Reach and Halo 4 came out to grace us with its Lovely presents.
On that note, I want to run something past you, Cole. This is coming to us from the X account Last Chalice at Last Chalice. The post reads, the best-selling Halo game of all time was Halo 3 with 14 million copies sold. Not a single other title in the franchise exceeded 10 million copies. For perspective, here are some other game sales numbers, all right? Luigi's Mansion 3, 14 million copies. So just as many as Halo 3.
Yeah.
The Witcher 3, 65 million copies.
False.
That's a big number.
Witcher 3, when was it released compared to Halo 3?
Witcher 3.
That's a later release, is it not?
You know, I want to say you're right. This was 2015, 10 years later.
Yeah.
Pal
There's
World.
definitely some time period to take into account.
Yes. Pal World, 30 million copies for that one.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've heard of Pal World.
Really? Okay.
Pal World.
There's
What
a
is
little
this?
controversy around. You don't know what Power World is.
I may have seen
Lawsuits
this.
galore, my friend. Lawsuits galore. Pokemon hates these guys. They essentially went with the capture your own creature kind of
Yeah.
angle, and yeah, Nintendo was not happy.
So this was a 2024 release, and they had already sold 30 million copies. Battlefield 6, 20 million copies. The post goes on to say, much can be said about Halo's influence and how astronomical the sales were 20 years ago, but the reality is that it's never been at the level so many franchises enjoy today.
Well, that's because of current trends. Current trend of the corporate fist being over the creativity of these games is apparent.
I wonder if it's maybe because, I mean, yes, you did have Xbox Live, certainly at that time, but maybe it was more of those where you didn't need to buy an individual copy, whether that was physical or digital. But it's like, hey, one of our friends, they have Halo. We're going to go over to his house and play. We're going to do, whether it's co-op or multiplayer, we're going to play that. And not all of us need the title.
And internet was still in its early phases. I mean, I didn't have internet.
2007, that was MySpace. This was before MySpace. Apparently it's coming back. I don't know if you've seen that.
Really?
I've seen some noise that MySpace is coming back.
Really?
Yeah.
The fact that it pulled in the numbers that it did for its time were extraordinarily impressive. You would have to correct me if I'm wrong. Halo 2 and Halo 3, during their time, grossed the highest revenue for, I don't know if it was entertainment category in general.
Okay.
Or if it was games and movies.
I think you're right. Both Halo 2 and Halo 3 broke global entertainment launch records during their respective debut windows.
Yep, there you go.
Halo 2 earned $125 million in its first 24 hours in 2004, while Halo 3 surpassed it in 2007 by pulling in $170 million.
Of how tiny the gaming industry was around this time and how new the internet was. To still pull these numbers is, by comparison, astronomical. It's been long since we've seen the days of Halo's golden era.
Another X account here, at Peter P _1985 says, starting to realize that a lot of Halo fans, quote unquote, are just straight up miserable and will never be happy with any modern game. Is there any truth to this?
Now, I see this take a lot. What I have to say to that, yes, there are certain levels of Halo fans that nitpick to a point where it seems like they'll never be happy with anything.
Yes.
A lot of what these people see as nitpicks seem like nitpicks because you don't understand the history behind it. For many examples of what we've already talked about, there are little things that add to the soul of the game overall. It's not one big thing. It is all these little things in conjunction that make it special. We already know with the past 15 years, if we give you an inch, they're going to take 10 miles. So we're going to give you nothing and hope that we get something that resembles a Halo game. We nitpick the things that truly matter to the soul of the game. We don't nitpick just to nitpick.
Well, I do think there are those who
are
going to nitpick.
Do.
Because we got a good friend. If he's listening, he's certainly one of them to an extent. But I think if I could speak for him, he's been down on Halo for a while. But when we had talked last, you had some concerns, but you were still optimistic. That was reassuring to me giving how neck deep you are, to have some optimism, because I think you need to have some optimism going into the next title. As we see here, they're not giving us a whole lot to be optimistic.
You never know. Even though this one, I would say, is an entire flop, who's to say that head couldn't be removed from cheeks and a new group of people come in and the next one's fantastic? You never know. There's always that opportunity. Do I see that happening? No, I don't. Especially not if Microsoft's corporate fist doesn't get removed from that end of things. I don't see it getting better. I will always have that level of not quite hope, but indifference. I'm not going to feel one way or the other towards it. I'll wait to see what they deliver, and I'll comment on what's in front of me.
Let me ask you this, Colt. Like, where's your head at right now? Because again, you were optimistic. You were looking forward to this. Now that you've played it, you've had your list. You've had the floor for the pod. You went through your list here. Where are you at with the state of the franchise?
I'll give you that, and I'll give you a rating. Overall, I would say this game feels like a patched together amalgamation of Bungie era games with little care to how it was kind of patched together. At least it feels that way. Now, whether that's due to complications or not, so be it. Regardless, this is the finished product you gave me, so I'm going to rate you on it. It feels like a patchwork. It completely misses the mark. The soul's not there. I know, well, they've been dropping not so subtle hints that they're kind of planning on remaking the trilogy. And from what I've seen, from what you have redone with dialogue and certain directions of things, and what they've done with the prequel missions, I don't want them. I don't want you to touch them at all.
I was just going to say that. They may have said that. They may have hinted at that, as you had said. But based on how underperforming it is at the moment, I don't think that they're going to invest all these resources. And it just doesn't. If you're trying to explain this, if you're trying to justify this to Microsoft, there's no way they're going to greenlight this. There's no justification for this.
Genuinely, how I feel about the franchise overall, it needs to be, the IP needs to be freed up for people with passion to work on it. At this point, I think fans are the only way forward. The mods that I've seen, which one benefit of this being on Unreal Engine 5, the mods have already come out fixing all kinds of issues. You can now have the old armor from the prequel missions in the campaign. Modders brought that in. You can use the stanchion now. All kinds of different things. Even the stupid little decisions they decide to make are being fixed by modders. So you have a little bit of that as a light at the end of the tunnel for this game. The fans have an opportunity to fix it. Unless they free up the IP for people with passion to work on it, I don't see them making a good Halo game. I don't. And overall, I would give this game a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
And that's as generous as I can be. Only because it still feels like a Halo game when I play it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Be it a kind of crappy one, but still feels like Halo. Still looks like Halo. The art design's there. Just a flop for me.
PC gave it a 77. PlayStation gave it 82. Xbox 84. This is just critic scores by platform.
Yeah, I think IGN gave it a 7. IGN gave it their standard 7 out of 10. They do that with all the games that are received.
Playing it safe. 7.9 on their user community rating scale. Okay. Well, there is some good news. Steve Downes shares his excitement for fans to experience Halo, the Fall of Reach like never before in the new full cast dramatized audiobook from @Simon Audio coming November 10th. So this is what Halo had posted on their official X handle. I read that today, and this was shortly before we jumped on the pod. I'm actually excited about this.
Pre-ordered.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm looking forward to this audiobook.
I am currently going through the first audiobook beforehand. That way I can have a comparison. I'm curious to see what they do.
Steve Downes, he's going to be featured in this from what it looks like, right?
Jen Taylor, I think all the voice actors.
That's so cool. Yeah, more of this. I just don't understand why we don't get more of this in terms of whether it's games or movies. When you're talking about the book itself, I would want the original cast to do the audiobook. So this is about 3 months from now, but I guess this is something that we can look forward to. It's not much. It's not everything, but it's certainly something. And that's just, Colt, that's where we're at.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that at least.
When you're more excited about the audiobook of one of the books of the franchise, that's all you need to know.
A recasting of the voicing of the audiobook.
Yes.
Even. It's not even a new book.
God. All right. Well, and I think we dissected this. This has more holes than Swiss cheese now.
Yeah.
You said you still want me to play this. You want me to sit down?
You've got to experience
Okay.
it. I'll finish off on this note. If you already have it, it's worth experiencing to know what the difference is. For the poor PlayStation people who this might be your first time ever getting to touch Halo, please do not play this and think this is Halo. That's my only wish. Play the game, but understand this is not what Halo is. And when we love it, this is not what we love. Now, there is a soul, there's a community built around a good game, and you got to experience that to understand what Halo is.
Yeah, get yourself a 360.
Yeah.
Or an X. I guess you would have to get an Xbox for Halo 2.
Yeah,
but,
original Xbox.
Halo posted, this was yesterday, a trailer, and it's one of those trailers that they typically do, like when a new summer blockbuster like Spider-Man, Brand New Day, or even some of these bigger AAA titles that we've come to know. But they'll have the text on the screen as the scene's playing out, and it's like this 5 stars from IGN or 5 stars from this other outlet. It was a really good trailer. It was very well done. And I'm thinking, okay, I know it's got its problems. Watching that trailer at the end of it, I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, where's this energy when you're making the game?
Right.
Get this team, whoever's doing the trailers, get them on the game.
If as much energy that went into advertising went into making this game, there would be something here.
Yes. It looks really good just from the trailer itself. All right, Colt, I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for jumping on as soon as you did.
Of course.
I wanted to talk about it, given that we're just a few days out from the release date. We're just kind of scratching our heads now. We don't know where we're at with Halo.
Yeah,
it's
future of Halo is questionable.
It's hard to believe it is now August 2026, and Halo 3 came out fall of 2007. Or I'm sorry, 2007. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of Halo 3. I bet you that there is some secret project that they're going to have a remaster of Halo 3, right? I mean, that just seems like the most Halo thing to do.
I want a remake of Halo 3.
Yes.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because we don't have one. We never got an anniversary version of Halo 3.
We did for Halo 2.
Halo 1 and 2 got a facelift. Halo 1 was not great received. Halo 2's was great. I don't think they should touch it. Halo 3 remake would be great. I do not trust this studio to do it.
We want it, but we don't want it.
Yep.
At the same time. Yeah. We're going to have you back on soon, and we're going to have to figure out what we're going to talk about. I know we're going to have you back on November because we're going to talk about this audiobook.
Oh, yeah. We should have plenty to talk about around there. And then we got some other topics.
And who knows?
Plenty to talk.
Maybe next pod we'll have Marty join us.
Oh, if only.
That'd be sweet.
It would be a day I would never forget.
Yeah, but
please, Marty.
He's very politically active, so we're going to have to get to him before November.
Something I found out. Apparently he's running for Congress.
Yeah, he is like in the thick and heavy, so he's going to be a hard get. So we're going to have to get him before he becomes POTUS at some point. All right, Colt. Thanks again for doing this. We'll catch you later.
Thanks for having me.